Huge victory to the Sydney Swans, extending their winning streak at Etihad Stadium to 8, and they are one of 4 teams that find themselves at 2-0 in the top 4 on the ladder after the first 2 rounds. Time now for a bit of bounce. Welcome to Bounce, proudly driven by Holden. Great to see a fantastic studio audience in once again. They made their debut last week. They were outstanding. They're like the 5th member of the panel, and God knows we need it, given the other jokers I'm working with here. But they are back once again. I speak of Andrew Gaze, also Danny Frawley, and the man that made a stunning debut last week in Cam Mooney. Good evening, gents.
Good evening, Chief.
Great to be here, Chief.
Now, we have to get straight to the elephant in the room. We received, we learnt about some massive news during the week. Apparently, one of the Bounce family is about to embark upon an NBL coaching career, and we had to learn about it in the paper.
No, you didn't. That's not true.
In the paper.
Backdoored us.
So, Gazy, you are going to coach the Sydney Kings in the NBL.
I am.
And I need to understand how that's going to marry in with what we do here in terms of our midweek meetings you're often late for.
Well, no, I'm regularly here on time. It's going to be difficult for me to get to the midweek meetings from now on. But I think that I'm here as long as you want, but I probably only the next few weeks, and then I'll have to move on to the next exciting chapter. So, unfortunately, I won't...
Let me just filter those comments. You're here for as long as we want, but the next few weeks we'll be shooting off.
So how many weeks
No,
are you
within reason. So if you said you're out of here right now, then ta-da, because you're the boss. But if you said, listen, can you give us, 2 or 3, 4 weeks?
Well,
then,
how many?
Let's just round it off to a nice sort of 4.
Okay, well,
So you're giving us the flip?
I am not. I'm not.
When you study at the moment, you're going in 4 by the sound of it.
I am giving you the flick. Yes, that is correct.
Now, you're Melbourne Tigers through and through.
I am.
Your old man would be turning his grave.
It's treason, Spud.
No, your old man would be turning his grave.
It's and a lot of people, but he's not dead yet, Spud.
What, your old man? Sorry, Lindsay. Sorry,
He's
Mr.
actually still living.
That was just a
I think he is. Mark Linz, hopefully he's still with us. But no, it is a tough time. But this arrangement is allowing me to still have an involvement with the Melbourne Tigers. So that's going to be great. They're in my heart.
You and your dad, icons of Melbourne Tigers.
Yep.
Yeah, this is treason.
No, it's not. No,
this is treason.
No, because I'm still going to be involved.
What does Lindsay say?
No.
Lindsay was the one that said, I think the time is right, son. You're not getting any younger, and I don't want to be turning in my grave having to watch you coach from upstairs. I want to watch you in person,
Let me tell you,
not in the grave.
I'm still getting over Spud suggesting Linz was a touch lifeless last time he saw him.
Well,
that's a dangerous place to go, Spud.
I thought it was weekend at Bernie's, so he was just sitting there doing nothing.
Having said that, hey, Gazy,
Sorry, Lindsay.
we shouldn't be surprised because you've been diversifying your talents for a while. And in actual fact, also recently, and again, we had to learn about it in the paper, he's ventured into the world of rap videos.
Oh, yes. Yes. How about we play you for the court?
How about this? Let's get out of here. What is this?
Hey, what was that? I'm down with the homies, and you just behave yourself, or they'll come and put a cap in your, what, mate.
Gazy, you've got a bit of head wobble there, mate.
Oh, that is
Sounds
good
like
head
he's
wobble,
getting ahead of himself, Chief.
Mind you, you're not the only one that loves the cameras around here.
No.
Because Easter Monday was a massive day for a gentleman by the name of Patrick Dangerfield, making his debut for Geelong in the big game against Hawthorn. And the cameras followed him pre-game down into the rooms. You wouldn't think a stalker would jump out with the cameras on, would you?
This is what I thought I'd seen at all.
I go down there, you
You can't let you drive it yourself.
Good on you, mate.
Be honest.
It was an accident. I was just
How long were you waiting there?
I just drove in and saw him there and stopped.
10 minutes earlier.
Like a moth to a naked flame, aren't you? Can't
I was
help
there
it.
for about 4 minutes. Waiting for No, look, it's just one of those things that happened, mate. It just happened to be at the right spot at the right time.
You've always loved the spotlight, and we know that he's mixed with celebrities from time to time as well. And there are none bigger than a beautiful young lady by the name of Elle Macpherson.
Oh,
Spud.
yes.
Oh, well, you know.
What are you doing there?
Have a look at the jeans, Moons.
Bit of pokey to
I'm
go.
not sure what I'm doing there, but, you know, I'm married to my beautiful wife, Anita, now, but
You're mixed with politicians as well. Bob Hawke.
there was 40 in the group, so
Look who's right next to him.
probably had to... Yeah, it was a good tag there. Brett Kirk, they were calling.
Yeah, let's be brutally honest, though. You have been dagging Hollywood celebrities for as long as we can remember.
Mate, they hang around me. They do. I just walk into a room and they just gravitate
The
me.
biggest names, and you'll be dagging them. Amy Schumer's one. I mean, this is where you come into your own once we start talking Hollywood.
She's only human, mate. She's only human.
Seriously.
What? What? I said, mate, they'll just turn up and they just want to... Have you got a St Kilda jumper there? I said, there you go, I've got one in my bag. And that's what happened.
Look at some of the names we're talking about, Spud.
Yeah, that's Photoshop, Chief. Come on. Is that Spud?
Pictures don't lie, though. That was Kanye, yeah. Bit of Justin Bieber.
Bieber, is it?
Yeah.
Bieber man. Yeah, well, what
Let
do
me
I
just
say?
say this, Spud. If you dag people for long enough, this is what's going to happen.
Someone flick.
Oh, that's a setback.
Maybe misfire. What I was looking for was this particular photo here. We just need to zoom in and have a look at that dag that's hanging
Come
off.
on, mate.
That is
can't-
you, mate.
No,
I'm telling
pull
you
up,
right
pull
now.
up.
All right. Let's turn our attention to the footy. Get a little bit more serious for a moment, although not totally serious. A lot of players have to do presses during the week. Jordan Lewis from Hawthorn was actually asked to help set up for his presser.
Can someone flick on the mic under the Hawks TV thing, please? Rather than me trying to fight my way through. It's just at the front. Under the... Perfect. Thanks, mate.
No, I haven't done it yet. Is that on? Yeah. Invoice you later.
I like that line. I'll invoice you later. How
bad is that?
Often, instead of microphones, a lot of the journos use their phones and just record everything that happens on the phone. You don't expect the phones to ring, though.
So that provides another really big opportunity for us this weekend, and we're looking forward to it. Yeah, no, unfortunately,
That's not on.
Handled pretty
Going
well.
this presser, Jay.
So it went once, it went twice, it went a third time because then the messages started to come through.
For a while, do you have any sort of mental edge over here?
That'll teach players. I'll guarantee you answer the phone from now on.
Louis pretty volatile. Great composure from Louis, wasn't it?
He did well.
Grabbed it and just
He did.
chucked it.
Well, one man that we've come to know and love very quickly is Brendan Bolton, the new Carlton coach. Very happy sort of fellow, and for the first time in his life, I reckon during the week he felt tall.
Good height.
Someone's taken the mickey out of you, I reckon. You can't do that. Disgraceful. And a lesson to be learnt that you always finish your food before you go and do a press conference.
Do you want me to wait? You can. That's clever. Careful with fillings.
You have that too.
Oh, yeah, of course.
No. Really enjoyed it.
I'm sorry.
Come on, Brad.
Yeah, it's a lesson to be learned for everyone. Mark McVeigh is very good at taking the mickey out of his brother, and he often chips in with a few mates. He works with the Fox Sports News guys, and he teamed up with Ben Way to stitch up one of the other boys, and it just happened to be on April 1.
Well, I'm just not going to answer the question anymore, mate.
Oh, this is getting frosty.
What? Why?
Well, I told you, and I've told you off air before, seriously, don't ask the question about Jared anymore because I'm going to stitch up my brother.
But you can understand it's in the public interest to find out how he's going.
I know it's in the public interest, but I'm not going to stitch him up. And you take the smile off your face as well, mate, because you know all about it as well.
Jared McVeigh. April Fool's!
How convincing was Mark McVeigh there?
That was brilliant.
He looked serious, didn't
Excellent. Outstanding.
he? Let's get to the football proper, and before we get right into it, Andrew Gaze
Hey,
has Interesting. Well, OK, you just jump in, mate, if you're good.
No, he's going to ask you about stats before you jump in.
Well, I didn't, because you're very dismissive of the stats, Chief. And, I know I'm not going to be here for all that much longer, but I just thought I'd leave you with a little something that in all round one winners played round two winners, and it's the first time, so this year, all round one winners played the losers in the second round, and it's the first time since 1918. That's right, wow. 1918.
Was Lindsay alive then?
Oh, no!
Sorry, Lindsay.
Moons, you and I headed over to Perth yesterday and we saw the Gold Coast Suns register their first win over in the West, and they got a hold of the Dockers. This was very, very impressive. And they're one of those 4 teams that are 2-0 to start the season.
Well, that second quarter, Jace, was absolutely brilliant. And, Lynch kicked 5 goals. Martin, we've been waiting for Martin to jump up and show his talents. He's had a lot of injuries over his last couple of years. He was brilliant. Gary was okay, but
he's good.
Aaron Hall, what a year he's having.
Yeah.
I mean, he's turned into one of the better midfielders. Maybe.
Is he a Tassie boy? He is, I think, originally, from Tasmania.
Don't know.
Yeah, I think he is.
But he's one of the better midfielders in the competition.
I will say this, except for probably Brad Johnson, who may just be one of the greatest geniuses ever, the rest of us, I think, all had Freo right at the pointy end as far as our pre-season predictions were going.
Brad Johnson had Freo out, and he had goals. And he had the Gold Coast in the finals.
Well, before you jump in,
they got West Coast and North.
Or tell me now.
OK, the pre-game you said you were going to run with that.
I was just going to suggest that we have a listen to some of the comments from Dockers coach Ross Lyon, who tried to identify some of the problems post-game.
We've chosen to go a certain way out of the middle and structure up that has certainly left our backline exposed and not coping, and our mids not coping. So we certainly need to look at that. The last time I experienced 6 goals out of the middle was when I was a young coach in a practice game, coaching St Kilda, and we were all getting to know each other in Port Adelaide, and my mids were walking out in the middle. So it's a bit of a rude awakening. With 0-2, I've been in bigger holes than this.
Has been in bigger holes, but they want to turn it around very, very quickly. They've got a couple of tough games coming up as well, Spud. Who have they got coming up?
Oh, let me think. West Coast and North.
Fantastic.
There you go.
So let's take a look at the league ladder after 2 rounds. As we mentioned at the top of the show, 4 teams remain undefeated. The Western Bulldogs are flying. Sydney, they've flown under the radar a little bit. Gold Coast, great to see them up and running. The AFL will be thrilled with that. And North Melbourne, a lot of people have dropped off North this season. They've started particularly well.
No, they have, and have Adelaide Crows, have they, I know they've only won the 1 game, have they got the best forward line moves with Walker and Betts and...
Well, Jenkins
Lynch
as well. Yeah. Lynch was absolutely outstanding. I think he kicked 6 on the weekend. Wow. He's the ultimate link-up player, Lynch. He's kicking goals as well.
Looks familiar at the bottom. Well, not 17th spot, but 18th does for you.
Yeah, well, that's OK. It's only early. As Ross Lyon said, they're Norton too, like Freo. They finished on top of the ladder last year, Freo, and they're 1 spot above the Saints. So
you think the Saints can finish top of that?
No, they can't. not at this stage.
I think Freo,
but they're only 1 spot off Freo. If you had said at the start of the season, St Kilda are just behind Freo after round 2, you'd be pretty happy. I think you'd be pretty happy, Chief.
They're winless.
I think
they're winless.
So that was a good pluck from me. It sounded convincing.
Hey, we need to check the injuries. We had some ordinary ones after round 1, Moons. What about
we did. Look, we got a few this round, let me tell you. I mean, Wingard going down with a hamstring as well in that game over there in Adelaide where they got absolutely belted. Grimes, Short, Grigg, Atsbury with his hand as well. Westhoff dislocated his finger. Fantasia, Rockcliffe, Rich, and obviously Marchbank today rolled his ankle for the Giants. So a few there this week.
Now, Gazy, you were superb last week with your reports. Yeah. Absolutely superb.
Thank you.
Nailed it.
A lot of people are doubting whether you can back it up this week, though. So take us through the reports and let us know exactly what's going to happen, please.
Give me a
bum tap.
Yep.
Oh, there we go.
We know he loves that. That's quite nice. I appreciate that, Moose.
Settle down.
You had a nice hand.
Hey.
I moisturise.
Get to the reports, mate.
Yes, now the reports. As you rightly said, I was 100% correct. It's I think I've got it nailed this week. The first one we're going to have a look at is Jacob Townsend, and that is rough conduct on Jackson Ramsey. Have a look at this. Here it is. He's just going for the ball, dives in there. He's on his knees, and who actually initiates the contact? That's just a bang play. Nothing to see here. All clear. No worries at all. Next one we have a look at is the Nick Floston.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done.
And have a look at the report. This is a hit on Taylor Adams. And again, I think he's going to be okay because if you have it, I don't think there is. Ooh. There was no injury. He just looks like he got him on the shoulder. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt there. And when we slowed that down to an inch of its life, I mean, to the second, and we couldn't see any head contact, but you never know how that's the only one. Nice. And the next one, we've got Patrick Ambrose. He was reported for a hit on James Harms. Have a look at this one here. Here it is. It's a swing. There you see it. It's just a slinging tackle. And look, he looks up. Nothing in there. No one was hurt. Just a tackle. Brought him to the ground. Nothing to see here. So I think all clear for the boys.
Are they match day reports?
Yep.
Yeah, they are match day.
That's it.
It's got to be a time. Umpires, stop reporting players on match day. It's pointless.
Oh, hello.
We have a match review panel for that job. It is the stupidest thing ever when umpires report players on the day. There's no point.
We're going to have to be very careful this year to keep Moons' bias against umpires under wraps.
I just sensed that a little bit.
Just no point. You're wasting everyone's time.
How many times did you get reported?
20.
I wondered why there was a little bit of hope.
You can see what the correlation is. All right, so let's have a look at today's games. At the MCG, well, most people started to tip West Coast to get hold of the Hawks, but the Hawks... people were quick to write them off after one performance. But Geelong were very good the week before, but that's a 46-point win over last year's grand final.
And have a look at this, the unfurling of the flag, and Big Ruffy, he was excited, but they went bang early, Chief. Big boy McAvoy, 15 hit-outs, he snaps a goal to get the Hawks underway. James Sicily, what a game for him. Lovely snap, set shot, tight in the boundary line. 4 goals, 6 marks. Hawks in front by 26 points. Then Jack Radden kicks his first goal for West Coast to put them into the game. Then big Jeremy McGovern from downtown.
Inside the square.
Absolutely. That's gone 70 metres from McGovern. Hawks at 21 points at half-time. Enter Cyril Rioli, the man from 50 out. He kicked 4. 7 total. Settle down, Gazy. You've got some wood. John O'Rourke, he was outstanding. 18 disposals. He's going to be a very good acquisition. Have a look at this, the vision from Louis. Over to Cyril. Thank you, mate, with the Rabbits. And he kicks his 4th. The Hawks win by 46 points. And Clarko likes beating his lieutenants. So let's have a look at the presser between Clarko and then we'll hear from Adam Simpson.
We didn't play anywhere near our best last week, and West Coast looked unbeatable last week against Brisbane. We needed to respond well from last week's loss. We're really disappointed with our performance against the Cats, and we knew we had to play some of our best footy, and we're pleased that we're able to do that. We on all 3 phases of play, whether it was when Hawthorn had the ball or when West Coast had the ball or when it was in dispute, we thought we were strong in all 3 facets of the game.
I'm not quite sure how they prepared. Obviously, they outplayed us in every area of the game. So, look, we just didn't put ourselves in any position to compete. Inside, outside, ball use. I thought our defenders actually did okay considering the supply. With the inside 50s, 34 to 68. So they probably should have won by more.
Some pretty forthright comments there from Adam Simpson. I tell you what, it's tough if you do your form lines from week to week in this game, because up in the nation's capital in Canberra, Geelong went up there after a great win over the Hawks. They were taking on GWS, who got beaten by Melbourne last week, and this is the Melbourne that got beaten by Essendon yesterday. And then GWS beat your old team, Moons, and that's a stunning result for them. That's a terrific 13-point victory.
Great result. And let's be honest, they should have won last week, really. So they've bounced back pretty well there with Nathan Wilson, obviously a big kick from outside 50. They went in at 2 points out of quarter time. The Stevie J became the Stevie J show. Wow. Great celebration. His first big goal for the day. And then just at the start of the third quarter too, he's banged in another one. So he had the ball on a string, the big fella. He's short now. This is just a poor kick coming back inside. Zach Smith, great little intercept, great handball. Over the top of the Greeks. I thought it might have been a hospital one there in the end. Went into 24 points up though, the Giants, so they really started dying. Look at this, goal of the year. Hawk, bang, outside 50, drop kicked it.
What?
From 53 metres and gone through.
Give me a spell.
Goal of the year. Unbelievable. He had a big day too, the big fella. 10 marks, 18 possessions, 3 goals. Fantastic. But that is going to be goal of the year right as we speak. Reece Stanley took a great mark, kicked a fantastic goal, got them back in within 6 points. And then Dangerfield took off, apparently ran too far, ran 10 steps, ran too far, unbelievable. Turnover, back to Ryan Griffin, kicked the goal, and there he is, Stevie J, in the middle, singing the song, getting the Gatorade shower, and Big Barry Hall caught up with Stevie J after the game.
What about today? It probably would have been a bit weird playing against some of your ex-teammates.
Yeah, I mean, I don't take any great satisfaction out of getting a win against my old teammates. I still love that club, and today was a little bit awkward, but I was really happy that, you know, I'm part of the Giants now and we were able to get our first win of the season, so that's exciting.
Pretty sure he would have savoured that one.
Don't
Stevie
worry,
J,
he would have said that, walked in the room and said, go and stick it up.
And I noticed during the week he said, no, I wasn't making contact with any of my teammates. I stayed off the phone. He'll be on the phone tonight, though, won't he?
On the phone apologising?
No, sending messages everywhere.
I reckon he'll be on the phone apologising because he got Selwood a couple of nice little whacks across
Did
the
he?
chin. Yeah, they'll be looked at.
Oh.
Ooh. Not a bad way, just a couple of mates just whacking each other.
I'm sensing some sour grapes here from
No,
Moons.
not at all.
All right, let's head to Etihad Stadium where the Sydney Swans are building a very imposing record. They've won their last 8 at Etihad and they got hold of the Blues, which I think most people probably expected, but just a comfortable 10-goal win there, Spud.
No, they were very, very good, Jace, and a lot of people had written them off, but they were terrific. And Josh Kennedy, 27 disposals, 5 tackles, kicks a goal on the run.
And then Brycey Gibbs nails a big goal from 50 yards off 2 steps, mind you. Absolute belter. He had 25 touches tonight, Gibbsy.
Yeah, the Swans are 8 points at quarter time. Isaac Heaney snaps a goal. Heaney, pretty exciting young talent he is. 14 disposals, and the Swans look on song at the moment.
Yeah, look at that. And who are we up to Swanning here, Spuddy?
Yeah, Papley.
Oh, this
Tom
young
Papley.
Papley.
Yeah.
Look at this for a left foot snap on the left. And he dribbles it through. He had a couple of goals tonight, Tom Papley. He started the year off brilliantly well.
Yeah, the Swans 38 points at half time. Great hand pass here.
Good courage.
Yeah, good courage. Really good play.
He's going to be a star, Papley. He's burst on this. He's another little pocket rocket, isn't he?
Look at this from a magical handball from Jack. Little over the top there. Callum Sinclair kicked a couple tonight, Callum.
Yeah, he certainly did. And here we go from downtown. Who we got here? We got Josh Kennedy kicks another one. So kicks the easiest goal for 2. So he's in terrific form, Josh Kennedy. Yep. Yeah, really good mark from someone in the crowd, Jason. I just it was a go to the song.
We just had to pause on that one.
Big win for the Swans. I'm not sure Spud was overly thrilled with the sheet of highlights he was given.
It's fair to say...
fair to say we butchered that one up.
Stevie Wonder wouldn't have been able to read that.
All right, let's have a look at the votes. The Schick $5,000 Player of the Year award and find out who picked up the votes in today's game. I wanted to put a West Coast player in, but I just couldn't find one. So I went Mitchell 1, Rioli 2.
Gee.
And Josh Gibson had 17 in the first term and ended up with 40-plus possessions
44.
and kicked a goal. Ridiculous. Absolutely amazing stuff.
Pretty good game.
Alistair Lynch from Canberra went 1 for Mummy, 2 for Ryan Griffin. So good to see him finding some of his best form. And Tom Scully is having a terrific season.
Muffet would have got one vote on the big hit that he did, which we will show a little bit later. That was the best thing I've seen for a long time.
Did Scully do a little bit of a job on Dangerfield as well? Because Dangerfield is a little bit quieter, or just won his own ball, Scully?
Callum Sinclair, Dan Hanbury and Luke Parker got the votes. If you can just keep your eye on what's happening on the screen, that'd be greatly appreciated, Spud.
Yeah, fair
and
enough.
that means the leaderboard's going to look something like this. Would you like to take us through the leaderboard, Spud?
I would, Jace. I'd love to do that. And Lukey Parker, what a start to the year from him. And there we've got Hawley there from the Gold Coast Suns. Jared Waite, and a lot of people were critical that North have got a lot of older players. He started the year really well. Robbie Gray. Zaharakis, he's been in great form. And, of course, Tom Scully, as we talked about, since coming from Melbourne, finding his best form, Jace.
And they're the votes from the Fox Footy commentators. Don't forget, there's also a Fox Footy Fans Player of the Year. You can jump on foxfooty.com.au/321 and give your votes. And there's another $5,000 for the player that picks up the Fans Player of the Year award, thanks to our good friends at Schick. Now, before we leave round 2, Spud, it would be remiss of us not to talk about Nick Riewoldt. A fantastic performance, the longest-serving St Kilda skipper, played his 300th game. And it wasn't a great result for the Saints, but he can certainly hold his head up high because, as you would expect on a big occasion, he brought out some vintage football, didn't he?
No, he certainly did. He took 14 marks, and the Saints just couldn't get the ball down there. And look, as you can see, his father there, Joe, and this is great footage. You see Riewoldt there kicking the first of his 2 goals. I think there's one shot at goal that he kicks. As we see Riewoldt taking off the ground there with Sam Fisher and Shawnee Dempster.
Well, if you look further on your running, we're going to show that shot where he was having a few problems in front of the sticks, and I'm having a few problems with Spud tonight, but not even his father, Joe, could help him through.
No, well, here's Joe, straight through. Just kick it here, son. Just kick it here, straight in my hands. Oh, no, he's a bit flat. Oh, come on, Joe.
That's not how I taught you.
Is that where Rui gets some of his body language from?
Maybe
great performance. Great performance.
He has been such a superstar for that club. We entrusted our own Danny Frawley with the task of coming up with St Kilda's greatest ever top 5 players.
No, it was top 10, Jason. I'll tell you what, I went grey.
We asked for top 5.
No, I did top 10. I wanted top 10 because I thought you said top 5 early in the week.
Yeah, I did say top 5.
Oh, here's the first one. It goes out saying, your mate, Jace, Tony Lockett, absolutely
Superstar.
outstanding.
Superstar.
Goes out saying, the great Darryl Baldock, the premiership captain for the Saints, he's absolutely outstanding. Ian Stewart, 2 Browns of the Saints, one with Richmond.
Yep.
A super player, the 2 Tassie boys there. In 4, Robert Harvey, who gets inducted as a legend St Kilda Hall of Fame on Saturday evening. And, of course, Nick Rewalt.
Oh, you found a spot from the top 5.
6 BNFs. No one's ever done it in the history of St Kilda Football Club.
A very handy top 5, Spud. I like it. Some quality players
10?
there.
Yeah, but where's the top 10 guys?
We need to keep moving on, Spud.
No. With the top 10, put it on.
There it is.
We only asked
Serious? Oh, Frawley. Obviously,
Before Nathan Burke.
Oh, Nathan Burke was a good player, but it's
game.
just, he couldn't kick as good as me, Nathan. But Nicky Widmar was a very good player, but probably wasn't as tough as
Tell me
me.
you got Stewie Lowe.
Stewie Lowe was a
come
really
on.
good player, but couldn't run as fast as me. That's why I had him at 9. And there it is, Jace.
So you did top 9.
No, Trevor Barker. The late Trevor Barker.
What cost you a spot in the top 5, though? What was it that just you couldn't...
Probably didn't kick enough goals. I only kicked 13 goals. I would have put myself 3rd or 4th, but only 13, Jace, in 240 goals. But 13 goals and full back, they were long kicks.
I find it
They were really long kicks into the wind, in the mud at Moorabbin, so they're pretty good, I would have thought.
I find it extraordinary that we asked for a top 5 and you off your own bat delivered a top 10 just so you could work yourself into it.
I thought it was quite good, Jason.
Yeah, you're the only one. We need to take a quick break. We've got Moons' Macca's
yes,
coming
forward
up.
to that.
It is a cracker. And don't come Mondays. Let me tell you, if you are a D's defender or a Tigers forward, might be a good time to go out for a cup of tea or something, Spud.
Long driving. Oh! Pickett almost took an absolute ripper. And he flies, but not quite the second grab. He was in the second story here. Crows have got the numbers to chant a big fly, not quite. Look at that. Look at that fly.
Sets it up. Big fly. Wow. Kent was the riser. This is a fair attempt, Jared. This would have been mark of the century. His name's not Clark Kent. No.
One of the greatest skills in our game is the big mark, and I think all of those would have been outstanding candidates for Mark of the Year if they had been taken. But you've got to hold it. These ones were held in round 2.
Had 36 disposals in the last showdown. What about that crash? Strong hands from Jarman Impey. Sends it back to the wing. Oh, nice clean mark from Shaki. There's a taste of what's to come. Oh,
out of nowhere. It's hard to set a zone up that high. The kick comes in towards the forward line. And what a mark down there by Jack.
no one coming for Enright. Oh, what a mark from Stanley. Thumping kick to full forward. Sicily. The youngster plucks. Play goes. Oh! Hoskin Elliott, the hyphen was high.
Well, we did a little bit of a whip around amongst the panel. We came up with our mark of the week. It was pretty unanimous, wasn't it?
It was. But who put Shaki on? He only had a cigarette paid between.
He's a first-year player.
He got that high off the ground.
Yeah, they're booing you now, and I like it.
Sorry. Fair enough.
So the best mark of the week we thought was Will Hoskin Elliott, an absolute screamer.
Yep. Possible mark of the year.
That is a great grab.
That is a ripper, and he went straight up. Did we get it right?
Yeah.
Everyone agree? There you go. We're all happy.
Might actually be the play. That actually might be the play of the year, because that was when Duncan got flattened just before it, so it was just a perfect play.
Jace, they weren't clapping for the mark of the year. They were clapping
We're not doing that yet. Because I know we get a lot of feedback on social media. Anything interesting coming through?
Well, there is Liam Green. He's out there, very creative type, because he just sort of found a picture of you. It's a quite a nice one that he's been able to put together. Thank you, Liam.
Who was that from? Liam, was it?
Liam, yeah.
I guess you and I have different definitions of what something interesting on social media might be.
That's art. It's art, Chief. It's very nice.
Show us one of your box set at some stage. And let me tell you, plenty of them come through, don't they? All right, now we have to do the thing that most of us don't like, but it's in Spud's contract. So it's called the Golden Fist. It's where he gives credit for defenders that play their part in the game.
We do that, Jason. We're looking for a new sponsor. We've actually got some overseas clients tonight, about 1 o'clock, 1 a.m. We're getting around all the marketing people. So we've got some offshore sponsors, hopefully, but the wedges we got from a couple of in the mainland aren't quite big enough at the moment. We're going to start off with little Jack Loney. It wasn't a great night for the Saints, but have a look at this smother from Jackie Loney. Whack! Smother! And Eric Banner in the crowd, he thought it was absolutely outstanding. Got any Ecker? All right, so well done, Eck. And look, as we know, Moons, you like this part of it, the ear massages. You've done a couple in your day, but have a look at Big Rancy on Clokey. Cop that, Clokey! Right on back of the bonds. Have a look again, and there it is, a penalty on Jaden Scott there, and the green on Selwyn. Whack! Old Golden Boy himself takes the dive. Absolutely outstanding.
He's loving it.
Oh, I love it. And the Channel 7 boys, my old buddies over there, they're getting behind the Golden Fist as well in the ear massages. Have a listen to this.
The old Blake with the spoiled fist there. It's an old full-back trick, Richo.
The old ear massage.
Yeah, got a bit of Spud Frawley about it, that one.
What can I say? I tell you, we'll have to widen the doors for my head to get out here tonight. I'll tell you what, but this is where the crowd get involved, Jace. I'm pretty excited. Hampson's double fist, and we'd say we could have marked, but he gets on the Golden Fist because bang! Have a look at that! Okay, we've got Hooley here, another double fister here from Hooley. Bang! Pop that basher! Over the top there. Oxley, have a look at the spoil. Bang! Absolutely outstanding. Brodie Smith. Whack! Over the top. I'm getting excited, Jason. And here we go, Bomber Michael Hartley. What a ripper! Bang! Oh, it is one more. One more, Jason. Take it. Oh, there was one more, Jared Harbrell. Oh, Chafe, I'm so excited. But look, the voting this week. I think I'm going to bust her foot valve here at the moment. But the votes go to Chip Frawley. I thought he was outstanding again on Josh Kennedy. Probably should have won the Norm Smith medal last year and kept Josh Kennedy to one vote. Talia did an outstanding job on Charlie Dixon for Port, the big recruit. Cop that, Charlie. Daly was all over him, of course. Josh Gibson, have a listen to this for stats. 44 possessions, 9 marks, 6 of those intercepts, 13 spoils, which brings a tear to my eye, 1 goal, 4 tackles, and went disposal efficiency of 92%. If this is not the best game for a defensive guy in the modern time, I'll go he. Have a look at this. Some of the spoiling was absolutely outstanding. Just when to mark, when to spoil. He had something like 12, and look at this. He just finishes off with a sausage roll in the last quarter. Thank you, mother, for the rabbits. Absolutely outstanding. Where's the young Hawthorn girl? Come up here. Come up here. You can do this for Josh. Sit here. Sit here. Look down the camera over here. What's your name?
Lula.
Lula. Okay, you do this for Josh. In there. This for you, Josha. Whoa! Good girl! Outstanding! There you go! Oh, Josh. They're around it, mate. They're around it.
What about Thompson on Pav? Or Will?
Yeah, he was okay.
Will played well.
Yeah, he was all right. He wasn't too bad.
But Chip got in.
Just throwing the family in.
All right, we need to move on. I've never seen you that excited. And people are getting very excited now about Moons' new segment too. Cam?
Well, we are. I'm very good. Sorry, I was daydreaming. Yeah, it's getting very excited about...
Mate, this is your big
This is my big moment. I was reading this. Mac is daydreaming. Let's jump to it.
Number 19, Cameron Mooney.
Absolute little win, that one, was it?
It was a big one.
But let's be honest, though, last week, people are jumping on board. Now, I got this tweet off Craig Zira. Now, this is what I'm talking about. If you have something that happens during the week, just send it in. So that came in. Carton of Carlton Drive for footy today, $44 at the local, $45 at Woolies, but down to $43.20 with the wife staff's discount. Hashtag little win. Absolutely brilliant. Now, that's what I'm after. I'm after a little bit of that. I love that.
That's a fantastic little win, mate.
It is a little win. But the biggest little win came from last week. Now, with our favourite, I think it was one of our favourites, Spud.
Yeah.
Tommy Lynch.
Oh, we love him.
Now, this guy, look at this.
Oh, that's
bang.
good.
Ear massage.
We love
hits
it.
Bagley right across the chops.
Cop that, Bagley.
We love that. And what happened?
Got reported.
He got off. Now, that's a little win. Now, I would have got 6 weeks for that at my time. So that, absolutely brilliant. And Fremantle would have been absolutely filthy because he went off and kicked 5 goals yesterday and won them the game. So Fremantle would be rapt about that one, Spo, wouldn't
no doubt.
That's brilliant.
Now, the other one today, now this happened, when did this happen? Yesterday, actually. Port Adelaide. Now, up until this point, young Dougal Howard,
what a shot.
Had a bit of a butcher every day. He wasn't quite getting the ball. He kept stuffing a few up. But how's that for his first goal in AFL football? Doogie Howser.
Dougal.
Snapped over his right shoulder with his right foot. That's not a bad one, Spud. That's a little win.
It's a little win. It's outstanding. Well done, mate. Can I just ask one question? What's his real name? That's his nickname, obviously, Dougal.
Dougal.
No, yeah, but what's his real name?
Dougal.
You sure?
Dougal. All right.
Parents, what are you doing?
Spud. Take a deep breath because you're about to rip into a couple of players. It's time for Don't Come Mondays.
I'll be home on a Monday, somewhere around noon. Please don't be angry. I'll be back with you real soon. I was hoping to catch a glimpse
Stick it up,
Well,
what did you say to that bloke?
Come home for lunch one day. And I mightn't be home. So, but anyway, these players, they won't be home on a Monday. I hope they're not home now, Jace, because it's fair to say, as we have a look at this, now, Eric McKenzie, do not sell candy to the candy man, Eric. What were you thinking? Eric? Have a look. Oh, come on, Eka. Come on, Eka.
Even Cyril started laughing.
Come on, Ek. What were you thinking? Fancy selling candy to the candy man. Oh, Eka. That flight on the way home, mate, she's going to be a long one after that. Simo's going to get to the review on Monday. Eka, please.
Taking something tonight. You are up and about.
I just can't believe Eric did that. But anyway, we'll move on. Now, Tommy McDonald, this one hurts. Now, Tom.
He got around it beautifully.
Takes a bounce. Have a look at this kick.
Oh, no.
Now, have a look at his direct opponent, Joe Danaher. I'm over here. Where are you, Tommy? Cop this, Tom. Cop it. Straight over the goal umpire's hat. Now, Tommy, 3 votes from Golden Fist one day, Jace. And...
Don't Come Mondays the next.
Feather dusters. Anyway, now Richmond have got a habit for this. Now Tyrone Vickery, he's a
recidivist.
No, he's a repeat offender. Okay. Now have a look at the time. Look at the score. Go back. Take 30 seconds off the clock.
No.
Oh no! I'm just going to kick the ball to a 2-on-1 instead of getting 30 seconds and taking the juice out of the clock. Game over.
What about young Lloyd? What's Lloyd doing?
Yeah, get out of the road, those little fellas.
All right, seems as though he's cleaning up everyone tonight, Spud. We need to take a quick break. Gazy's turn it up coming. We might have to look at some dribble kicks as well. Welcome back to Bounce, proudly driven by Hold. Now, before we get into Andrew Gaze's Turn It Up, someone that you might know, Andrew Gaze, is sitting in our big rocker recliner.
Right, I do.
A gentleman by the name of Ian Gainey.
Yes, he is. Ian grew up at when I used to live at the old Albert Park Stadium. He's a superstar wheelchair basketballer, and he's coming in and joining us, and he's in the Bounce VIP seat tonight. So good on you.
Great to see you, Ian.
And he's happy with his very happy with his Bombers.
Very rare that you get to wear those colours proudly of late, let me tell you right now. But it's a club that I've had issues with in the past, Bud, for obvious reasons. But goodness, I'm actually happy that they had a win. But right now we're going to have a big win because sit back and just get ready to split your sides laughing. Andrew Gaze is pumped up. He's declared this the best turn it up ever.
No, I haven't.
You won't put it through? Of course he will. How's that?
Now, a lot of dirty bludgers out there trying to take shortcuts, and the first couple of turn-it-ups here is about people that just testing the boundaries of efficiency and trying to make things happen a whole lot quicker. Over in China, when you've got cargo to deliver, you've got to get it done in any way possible. Have a look at this for a setup. Nice little bike. Now,
is that a pizza delivery van?
Now, he's not holding up that cargo with his head. He's actually looking through. Peripheral vision would be a real issue if you're trying to do that and deliver that sort of cargo. Now, if you were driving down the street and you saw someone doing that, in your own head, you'd probably say this.
You've got the audience working for you now.
Spud has inspired me. Now, again, efficiency. Sometimes, Spud, if you're going to exercise a horse, what would you do?
Well, you'd put a saddle on it and go for a ride, surely.
You reckon that'd be the easiest way to exercise a horse? Well, apparently not. Over there in Europe, they said, well, let's just... Now, honestly, if you're there and you're trying to exercise the horse, I'm not sure that meets all the sort of RSPA specifications on how to get the horse a little bit of an exercise session. Turn it up if you're going to do that type of thing to the horse. Now, a boy stood on a burning deck, a pocket full of crackers. One fell down between his legs and blew up bloke his knackers. That's the old saying, isn't it? Now, we know that when we were younger, so you reckon you learn...
He's an imbecile.
Now, sometimes...
That's just stupid.
That is just fair dinkum stupid. If it had rolled a little bit longer, the reaction of a man was very, very funny. But, I mean, you've got to be careful. There are a lot of young folk in the audience and out there. Just turn it up. You don't want to be messing around with firecrackers like that. Now, you know I'm big on the goalkeepers in soccer, or in soccer in general, with the faking that goes on and when they do things to try and get a free kick. Well, South Africa Soccer League. Here we've got Glenn Verbeweeden. He takes a dive in the first one, and there's a little bit of a smarty bum, and then he dives, and no, that's not good enough. He kicked me in the head. He kicked me in the head, and he's angry. Give me a free kick. He stomped on me. This is a disgrace. This is shocking. Now, that type of behaviour we can't condone, and we say turn it up if you're going to carry on with that sort of rubbish out there on a soccer pitch. Now, you had a bit of a crack at my dad suggesting that he's actually passed away, but you did early on. But sometimes the elderly, they just, although they're wise and experienced, they make some real difficult and unusual decisions. You've got a seesaw, so they said, well, this makes a good little picture, doesn't it? Oh, hang on, we've got a few problems here. Hey, Keith, hey, what's going on, Keith? What's going on? Hey! Oh, no, we're still going. What's happening here? A bit of common sense from the elderly, you would think. Turn it up, old folk over there in Germany. It's a seesaw. What are you expecting? If you're going down, don't bring your mate down with you that's next to you.
Hey,
turn it up, you blokes.
If you're always going down, Gaze, you bring everyone with you. Let me tell you. Jace, there's a little bit of dribbling action going on the weekend. Surely you picked up something.
There's a couple that we do need to have a look at. The first one, and this hurts to say, we have to go all the way back to Easter Monday because we did the show the week before. Luke Bruce.
Oh, no.
Now
See,
last week...
the difficulty for Bruce, he was on...
No.
Hey.
Can I say something? Last week, the crowd were very, very disappointed. They felt like it was a great show, but it could have been... a stupendous show because you didn't crank.
You went soft. No, you went soft, and you went soft there again.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's funny you use it. Sometimes it's the softly approach that can work with these people.
Yeah.
And you just can't rant and rave all the time. So Luke, you're a better player than that.
You're going
next
soft.
time, straight up. And just kick a nice drop punt.
Well, the next one.
That'll work. You won't do it again.
Yeah,
He won't do it again. Now, a Western Bulldogs player by the name of Matt Suckling, another former Hawk.
Now, come on, Chief.
Nah, Chief.
Settle down.
That's not acceptable.
And he's a repeat offender.
Yes.
Joe.
See, you've got to understand that he is a finesser when he kicks the footy, and the younger generation don't respond to abuse or stinging criticism.
No, this is lost.
Sometimes you have
The crowd wants something from you, mate.
Come on, Chief.
You know deep inside
I'll
there's
give the crowd
in there.
something already. Don't worry about that.
Something
and the
inside.
last one we had to look at was Luke Dahlhaus.
Come on.
Oh, not Lukey, no.
Oh, no. Oh, come on, Chief.
This should have been a drop punt.
Got to get that out of
This
the
should have
game.
been a drop punt straight through the goals now, Chief. Come on, Chief.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Spud. He was on his natural foot.
He
right?
was. He was.
He was 20 metres out directly in front.
I can feel something. I can feel it. He was.
And he had no opposition that were about to
No,
smother
he
out
didn't,
getting
Chief.
his
He
way.
didn't. He didn't.
Well, I don't think the softly approach would work with a flog like that. I have a message for young Luke Dahlhaus. Obviously very dull upstairs, young Luke, because you just don't do rubbish like that. You're not only embarrassing yourself, you're embarrassing your teammates, you're embarrassing your coaches, your family, and your bloody ancestors, Luke! We're not copping that anymore! I'm not going to put up with it! And I'll tell you right now, I'll be making a call to your coach, Luke Beveridge, because if you're going to keep going on with that rubbish, we'll both give you the Khyber and you can...
There you go.
I don't want you blokes winding me up anymore. I get no enjoyment out of doing that.
Mate, you're back.
We need to take a quick break and come back and wrap up with a few laughs before we finish up.
Hawkins got it, pushed off one, but not the second.
He's like a big water buffalo and a couple of lions just jump on his back, and eventually, if there's enough lions on him, they'll take him down.
Good comeback by the water buffalo. You could see anything on this show. Just before we get into a few things that the camera's picked up, we've had a response to the dribble kicks.
Yes, Matt Suckling, and it's got the blue tick, so it's all Ridgy Didge, and it was directed to you, Cam Mooney.
Moons.
Mooney, very quick to throw me under the bus as a repeat offender, ha ha ha. Thanks, and sorry, Chief. Very sorry.
There you go. Well done, suckers. Well done, son.
I'm about to say something.
No. What we need to do, just be quiet for just a few moments. A few things that we did see the cameras picked up. When you're having a good day, you get a good bounce to the ball. Well, you know it's a funny shaped pill. Sometimes you don't get the good bounce once, you get it twice. Aaron Young has kicked 2 long bombs. Neither of them was actually going in until they bounced.
And the leggy.
And he's turning it both ways.
Wow.
He's got a bit of ability. Hiccups. I think it's fair to say that hiccups are not ideal when you're trying to do commentary. Just ask Anthony Hudson.
Oh, dear.
Yep, going well.
Yeah.
Normally this would have commentary attached to it, which would make it funnier.
Looking for a sausage roll.
I've got a feeling that's going to appear on some show during the week.
Well, it sort of did.
It would have been.
It did appear, but we missed the bit that had the hiccup on. But we won't worry about that. There's also a thing called the commentator's curse. When you make a statement of fact and you try to predict what's going to happen, Ben Dixon found out the hard way.
From memory, in his warm-up, I think he had about 15 from here, so this should be an absolute soda.
Oh, my goodness. It's a vacuum out there.
No bubbles in that soda.
Well done, Dicko. Big Shane Mumford. Now, this is the right way to clean someone up. He didn't bump him. If he did, he could have A, killed him, and B, got rubbed out for 20 weeks. But he took him front on and hammered him with a body tackle.
Yeah.
That is superb, and fortunately, he was okay. Spud, who had the best mullet back in the 80s?
Danny
Gary
Del Rey.
Ayres, Stephen Kernahan.
Young bloke at Etihad Stadium has decided to bring the mullet back. Have a look at this one.
That's Greg Anderson type.
Terry Keys.
Yes,
Remember
that's
Terry
the one.
Keys for
That's Greg
Collingwood?
Anderson. That is Greg.
Yeah, Greg Anderson.
That is an absolute ripper. Now, we have run out of time, unfortunately, because we had a really good photo of Spud dressed up as a woman. We might have to save that for next week. Great for joining us on the show tonight. Fantastic performance from you. Thank